What's up guys, Metal here. Today we're going over important tips and strategies you should be using in every game of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt. My first tip for you is to understand the resonance system. There are 4 different resonance perks with 3 levels of each perk. You start being able to take a maximum of 3 resonances. You collect these resonances by feeding on the glowing mortals of a corresponding color. However, the 3 max you start out with is not really enough to get a great amount of benefit. To see a noticeable amount of benefit from these perks, you need at least 2, but really probably 3 resonances in it. So you need to gain more max resonances by either feeding on other players or on the entity soldier NPCs you can find at the red crosses marked on your map. These bonuses stack up to give you a massive difference on a well-fed vampire. At every opportunity possible, you should be feeding on other players. I would avoid shooting other players to death unless it is too risky for you to feed on them and you don't want them to get up later. The pink or sanguine resonance is the most important. This enables a passive health regeneration that is always on, even in combat, while downed, or in the gas. At every second you are constantly regenerating health. Having 3 points here makes a huge difference. It gives you 4 health per second. In fast-paced situations where you don't have time to heal, where the fights just keep happening, especially if you combine a blood syringe, you'll just be regenerating so much health, it can keep you topped off all the time. And when your teammates down you just have to run away for a little bit, maybe pop a blood bag and you'll be back with the full in no time at all. This one is by far the most important. Now the other 3 resonances are going to depend more on your playstyle, but I'm still going to go over all of them. So the orange or choleric resonance increases your melee damage up to 50%. This is really amazing if you plan on using melee regularly. With 3 points into this is going to let you kill your enemies way faster with melee, and we'll talk more about melee in a bit. The purple or melancholy resonance allows your clan ability to recharge up to 50% faster. If you rely on your clan ability a lot, this can be great. This is likely the second best choice behind pink for clans Toreador, Ventru, and Nosferatu, who all have great clan abilities. But the Bruja, they might find this less desirable, depending. I'm not sure. Your playstyle is going to vary there with that jump. The teal or phlegmatic resonance allows your archetype skill to recharge up to 50% faster. For archetypes like the Muse or Saboteur, who frequently use their archetype ability, it can be really powerful. But given how situational most archetype abilities are, I think this is kind of the weakest one unless you just don't use melee. Like, most of the time, your archetype ability is strong, but you're not using it so often that you need it 50% more often. However, again, in a class where that makes sense, I would definitely recommend going for it. Now, the last kind of similar thing to the resonances is in the single player Bloodhunt. There is some mortals who have a highlighted red heart. This looks different from the glow that comes off the resonance mortals, but these abilities, or these NPCs, will give you an extra life. Now, you can only have 1 extra life at a time, but after you respawn, you should immediately prioritize finding one of these NPCs so you can stay in the game longer. Just keep an eye out for the ones with a red heart but white everything else. So now on to the second tip. Melee weapons in Bloodhunt are crazy powerful. Now, coming from other battle royales, you see an axe on the ground, everyone has guns, and you're just like, this is probably kind of useless. You might even mentally just filter them out and not even notice them on the ground. I've seen some of my friends doing that. But the fire axe and katana can do massive damage, especially when combined with the orange resonances. The rare variants, the purple katana and dual blades, have special abilities. The katana can be used to deflect bullets back towards the shooter, and the dual blades can give a dash attack. What really makes the melee strong, though, is that you get a lifesteal off of it. So not only are you hitting them for massive damage, like 70, 60, 100 damage per hit, you can also get health back, which can keep you alive. If they're trying to back away and shoot you with an assault rifle or an SMG, you can easily heal back all the damage they're chipping you with just by keeping hitting them with an axe. And then you can feed on them and get your full health back when you're done. I typically use a melee weapon like I would use a pistol in another game. So if I run out of ammo while fighting an opponent and, we both need to reload, we're both kind of taking a second, instead of backing off and reloading and healing, I'll pull out my melee weapon, charge them, I'll get a heal off of hitting them, I can down them. It can make for a really great high risk, high reward sort of play. Now, I think it's important to point out, though, that despite being blue, the bat seems to, strictly speaking, be a downgrade from the axe. And despite being purple, the dual blades are a very situational pick, because while that dash attack can be really useful, they do less damage per swing. I think they might have faster swings. I might be wrong on that. I'm not sure. The way the movement works in this game, it's more about landing the most damage on each hit you can, because you're not always going to be up against somebody to do steady DPS with a melee weapon. However, the dual blades are still good. I just think they're more situational when compared to a fire axe or katana, where you should basically always have one of those. My third tip revolves around the movement in this game. One of the major aspects that sets Bloodhunt apart from other battle royales is the smooth and quick skill-based movement mechanics. Mastering them is going to be important for quickly traversing the map, as well as outplaying and confusing your opponents. Most of you will have realized that you can slide and jump for bursts of speed. Sliding down sloped roofs will get you moving even faster and allow you to jump across wider streets and other gaps in the rooftops. However, many people don't seem to realize that you can also run sideways along walls, as well as perform wall jumps to bounce off walls in any direction. So while you can climb vertically straight up the wall, you can also run sideways along it and then jump off of it in different directions. This can provide a burst of speed, which can then be combined with an additional slide when you hit the ground, as well as a jump. Combining together wall bounces, slides down slopes, and jumps can allow you for incredibly quick bursts of speed, which can surprise your opponents with rotations or make you harder to hit in firefights. Additionally, when you're coming off of a rooftop, it's always a good idea to slide first and then hold your slide when you start to hit the ground again, because then you can begin to slide again, which skips the hard landing animation where your character like buckles their knees. This can prevent you from taking fire. This also prevents heals and reloads from being interrupted from hitting the ground, which can be really nice because you can start sliding off a roof, pop a blood bag, and then as you land, you'll slide again towards cover or toward an alley or whatever you need to do, and you'll keep healing this whole time. So for the 8 or 10 seconds or whatever it takes to pop the blood bag, you can keep moving instead of being a sitting duck. Now that you know about these advanced movement mechanics, you should avoid holding space to just straight up vertically climb walls, because it's loud and predictable to shoot at you with. So instead, you should utilize wall bounces when possible to climb, reducing noise and predictability. My last tip today is that in any class-based game, it's obviously important to understand the abilities of each class. However, it's especially important in Bloodhunt because the classes are more complicated and it can be hard to tell who you're up against because of the kind of free-form customization. You know, the different classes don't have really unique silhouettes or anything like you might see in a game like Apex Legends, which is cool. I do like the character customization, but it just means that you have to really be on your game with recognizing what you're up against. So here's a couple of ways you can tell what you're up against. Different outfits can be locked to a clan, as well as faces and feeding animations. Now, it's not too super likely you'll see them feeding, but it could be a way to get a clue. Being able to recognize who you're up against is obviously really important to anticipate the enemy ability usage, but it's also really important that you know what your class is capable of, because there's a lot of nuance to some of the abilities in this game. For instance, the Ventru clan, which currently only has one archetype in the game in the Enforcer, their clan power, Flesh of Marble, allows the player to become invincible for a short period of time. You've likely already seen these people in the game because they're one of the most powerful and popular class. They can't shoot while invincible, but did you know that they can heal and feed while invincible? So they could use this opportunity as a way to feed on a downed enemy or a random NPC to fully heal quickly, as well as using blood shots or blood bags while they're invincible. Similarly, did you know that the Muse can use her clan ability or even her healing ability while she's down, which can make for a highly mobile downed enemy, as her clan ability allows her to blink across short distances. These characters can often blink through the gas and end up behind you, so you think you down somebody out in the gas, you don't have to worry about them, and then they just creep back up because they can still blink while they're in the gas, while they're down, and especially if they have a lot of the purple and pink resonances. You know, they might actually be able to easily escape the gas, even in the late game, thanks to their health regeneration and quick cooldown on that blink. Well guys, those are my 4 tips for you to help dominate the competition in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt. Please leave a like on the video if you found something useful. Definitely comment. Tell me if you guys want to see more of this game. I'm really enjoying it because it's a great mix of, you know, competitive FPS that I enjoy, along with the sort of lore and story rich like tabletop game universes. I definitely became a fan of the franchise after playing Bloodlines recently, which was really awesome. I definitely recommend that if you're into RPGs. So yeah, definitely leave some feedback if you enjoy this game. I'll be happy to make more content on it. But until then, it's been Metal. I'm out.